We've cued the music, and you know what that means. It's time for the Louie Herron Weekend Kickoff with Louie Herron.
At the end of the day, what's most important is to find the car you want that meets the expectations that you need for you and your family.
And Randy Beasley.
Of course, the weekend, you got folks maybe thinking it's going to be some nice weather to get outside and peruse the car lots.
And now here they are, Louie and Randy.
All right, we are ready to go. It's the Louie Herron Weekend Kickoff with Louie in studio. Louie's Lake Lot, and we're going to talk about several things today, but let's get the football out of the way. Football season is here. Baldwin starts their season tonight. They're at home tonight. We'll have that game here on Country 102, our high school game of the week. They're hosting Hancock Central. John Millage is on the road to play Heritage. GMC Prep on the road to play Tatnall in Macon. Got started last night. Big surprise in Columbia as
wow, that was,
yeah, how about that?
Yeah, that was crazy. That's what you know. You had these preseason rankings. I mean, how are you a top 10 team and lose like that at home?
Well, I think people
sorry for the Gamecock fans.
I think Texas A&M got a little tired of hearing a lot of what they heard. And they said, you know, we think we can play a little bit. Kenny football last night.
Well, I'll tell you that I don't know that enough credit is given to that head football coach at A&M. He's got a system, but I also nobody. I mean, there's a lot of solid recruits that are in A&M. I mean, there was three number ones draft picks last year. I mean, that's big time.
Well, they've got a hotbed of talent. They're the hot team in Texas, and we'll see if he ends up in the NFL or how long he stays at Texas A&M. But
right.
He's a good coach. All right, we're talking about Kevin I can't ever say his name right. Is it?
You got me.
Sumlin or you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know him if you saw him. Sorry about that.
You know if you saw him, right? If he was at the Pickle Barrel, you know who he is.
Okay, and the Falcons wrapped up their preseason last night. Dolphins.
They wrapped them up last night.
They're done.
They played St. Louis, and
so Sunday week I guess maybe there's a pro game next Thursday. But most teams will start a week from Sunday.
Well, I think they start off with don't they start off with the previous Super Bowl, Seahawks and the Broncos or something? I think is the first game or something like that. They typically get some good.
There's football everywhere. Lots of college football this weekend. Georgia tomorrow will start hosting Clemson. Georgia Tech will be at home with Wofford.
They always start off with a just a doozy, huh?
Yeah, tune-up. So
Elon College, Wofford, somebody always comes into town that you got to, hey, but you know what? You got to be careful. Remember App State went into the big house and beat Michigan, and
how about Georgia Southern against Florida last year?
Yep, and then who was it? Kansas lost to South Dakota State or something.
So yeah, you got to watch it. All right, there you go.
Do we have any? Look, the year's starting. How about our local high school guys? We got any top prospects that we're looking at that can go to the next level?
Well,
we need to bring Scott in here for that.
Yeah, may have to get the opinion from Mr. McLeod, but we'll see. It's going to be an interesting year with Baldwin, and of course, John Millage got their season off last week with a win, and they're got some new region foes, so it's always changing.
Did you watch Hard Knocks? Did you get that last episode?
I've watched every episode. Yes, I did.
And that's pretty.
That was intense.
Love that show.
That was intense.
Yeah, that special team coach. Did you hear him?
Yes, I did.
He was dropping some F-bombs all over the place. I was like, whoa.
He was not real happy with some of the rookies. That was good stuff.
Wow.
I guess they had the final. Well, no, they got a couple more. I guess.
Yeah.
Don't they do 6 total? So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he wasn't that happy with those guys, and I'll tell you, if you're buying a car, one of the things that a lot of consumers really get upset about is not being happy with negative equity. So I remember a few years ago we called it a sick disease, the negative equity disease. I want to get into that today and talk about negative equity because I think the understanding of negative equity and how it affects your deal, your next purchase. I think there's a lot of misconceptions of negative equity, being just all profit. The dealer made, a lot of times the customer will trade in a car and say, oh man, this, I'm $5,000 upside down. So maybe in their minds they assume that the dealer made $5,000 and that's why I'm dealing with this. But unfortunately, there's a lot of things in between that, I want to cover. And most importantly, like we always talk about, Randy, you can understand what something is or how something came about, but the key is how can you in your next purchase do your best to avoid that and save as much money. So I want to get right into that in the next break.
All right, it's the Louie Herron weekend kickoff, and Louie is in studio with us today. Our forecast today going to be sunny and hot this afternoon, mid-90s. Going to see that humidity start to creep back up, and scattered showers and thunderstorms, it looks like, for the holiday weekend. 64 degrees, though, still nice out there this morning. 823 at Country 102.
Or stop by CNS Body Shop on South Jefferson Street in Milledgeville.
It's 827. This is Country 102. You're listening to the Louie Herron weekend kickoff, and we've got Louie with us this morning. Negative equity. Yeah, that's a term some people don't want to hear, but it's a fact of life nowadays, especially.
Absolutely. Well, how about we'll pay off your car no matter how much you owe? You heard that before?
Yeah, I do. And I was going to say, when you were talking earlier, I was going to say, that some people say, well, that dealer made $5,000. Some of that is probably a little self-inflicted with some dealers with the way that advertising works.
Well, the FTC has called that deceptive and misleading advertising. That we'll pay off your car no matter what you owe, because the fact of the matter is the dealer will pay off the car. Because we can't do a deal without satisfying the lien. Most lenders are not going to. They're going to make certain that the trade is paid, whether it's through gap insurance or total loss, or you're paying it off, or the consumer's paying it off, whatever the case may be. So, when you look at that obviously lets the consumer feel like, hey, listen, if I owe 15, then I'm going to get 15. That's what they think. And obviously that's not the case. I mean, the reality is if you look at a dealership and you look at the amount of used cars that are on somebody's lot, the dealership deals with the same amount of negative equity that a consumer deals with. So if that's the case, if it's equal across the board for everybody, then it can't just be profit. We don't make profit on ourselves when we take in a used car. So obviously profit's not the only reason why there's negative equity. So let me go through a couple of them so you understand the three biggest factors of negative equity is depreciation. Okay, a car is worth less today than it's going to be tomorrow, period. End of discussion. It's going to be, I don't care if it's a new or a used car. Then when you buy a car, you got to pay taxes and fees, right? Mm-hmm. So whether there's dealer fees, admin fees, doc fees, whatever fees they want to call them, we all have them. Every store's got one, okay? And so you have those fees, and you have taxes on top of that. And now they've changed the rule with the ad valorem, right? So now you're paying your TAVT tax, right, which is on a future market value, and then there's profit. So when you take the dealer making $1,000, $1,500, or you take the dealer making $500 or whatever they make, plus taxes of $1,500 in fees, okay, and then you have depreciation of the car. You add all that together. Literally, it takes 2 to 4 years to kind of get to a point to where you are not $4,000 or $5,000 upside down. When you buy a new car, the drop in depreciation is devastating. I mean, you can have a brand new car depreciate $5,000 in the first 16 months, and another $3,000 the next 10 months. I mean, $8,000, in the first 2 years. Mm-hmm. And again, we've talked about it even as much as last week, talking about other items. If a vehicle is worth $20,000, 3 years later, it's going to be worth half. So remember, the first thing about negative equity is I don't want you to think that, it's strictly profit. There are other things that go involved with that. The depreciation is the biggest piece of negative equity, bar none. I mean, the depreciation of the car. So we want to talk about how do we eliminate, or how do we modify, or how do we get away from the depreciation. And so I think when we come back from the next break, I want to talk about, number one, how the negative equity affects you financially. What is it going to do to you? And then we'll get into how do you avoid negative equity.
It is the Louie Herron weekend kickoff on Country 102, and we'll be back talking more with Louie. And don't forget to stop by Louie's Lake Lot tomorrow morning. It is the end of the month, so Saturday, you're getting out. Is a great time to get by there, so we encourage you to check that out tomorrow morning. We're going to talk some more about that as well. This is Country 102 WKZR. 66 degrees. Here's Tim McGraw. This is Country 102, 67 degrees now, 8:35. Louie Herron weekend kickoff, getting you ready for a big weekend. High school football tonight, college football tomorrow. All over the place football. It's not exactly football weather, but
it's hot.
Yeah, hydrate.
Yeah.
Please hydrate. no matter what you're doing, hydrate. Yes,
Exactly.
Like if you're going to be at Louie's Lake Lot tomorrow morning,
Hydrate
Yes.
before you come.
That's
Get
right.
plenty of Gatorade before you come to the lot.
But I know it's the end of the month, so today, tomorrow's a great time to get by.
Yeah, if you're listening, and really, I encourage you. If you're trying to buy a used car, obviously you want to deal with somebody you trust, you feel comfortable with, before, during, and after the sale. Hopefully, people know that, especially the folks that know me, you can rely on that. I'm there, so we'd love for you to come out there. Plus, we've got all the selection you need out there too, Randy. From we got Highline vehicles, we got trucks, SUVs, cars, and it's the same inventory that I was carrying, at the franchise lot. We carry good quality stuff, so I think it's a great deal. But when we're buying a car, though, whether you're listening, whether you buy one from me or anybody else, we're talking about this negative equity thing and how it really can. Really upset customers. Randy, I'm telling you, more deals are lost because of the trade-in than you would imagine. What runs through your mind? I know you don't buy cars all that frequently, but you bought plenty in your lifetime. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, it's just different things. It's all according to your situation. In the past, for me, I've always tried to be where it was either paid off or I knew it was close enough to where it was. But for some people, you're in a situation where you need to make a change, and whether you're upside down or you still owe a significant amount, it's just
it's heartbreaking. Really,
you got to know where you are, because may not be able to get as much car as you were thinking you could get.
You're right on the money, and so we talked about what negative equity. Where it comes from with depreciation, taxes, profit to the dealer, okay? But now let's talk about how it affects you. Here's what Randy's saying that is so critical. Everybody wants to get out of their current car, get into a new car, and keep the payments the same. And in most cases, they want to get them lower. I can't tell you how many times people will come in and they'll be like, well, I'd like to lower my payment. Well, remember, if you've got negative equity, the biggest way that has a huge effect on you is always remember, for every $1,000 that you're upside down, it's going to affect you roughly $25 a month. So if you're $4,000 upside down, before you even pick a car, you've got a $100 payment.
Right.
You've got two payments. You've got your old payment of negative equity, and you got your new payment. Okay. Now, in fairness, I will tell you, there is enough incentives. There's enough rebates. There's enough aggressive used car dealers. There's enough interest rate reductions. There's enough term that can reduce your payment and get you in a comfortable situation. But the manufacturers, the lenders, and the dealers, all of them want to do the same thing. They all want to sell cars. You're not going to sell cars by not having any kind of incentive. So they're going to do their best. But the main thing that I want you to realize is that for every $1,000 that you're upside down, it will cost you $25 a month. So if you're paying $350 a month, and you're $4,000 upside down, if you get the same car you got last time, money-wise, you're already going to pay $100 more a month. Mm-hmm. Okay? So again, we know what negative equity is. We know how we got negative equity. Okay? Now we know how it affects you. So when we come back, here's the real nugget. What do you do to avoid it? And I've got 4 specific things you can do that you want to stand by. You don't want to miss this.
Louie Herron, a weekend kickoff on Country 102, 839 music from Rascal Flats coming up.
At the local Cafe, they know that it takes more than just great food to keep you coming back.
Louie Herron weekend kickoff. Yes, it's Louie in studio with us today, and we're talking about negative equity. We're also talking about the end of the month. Good time to get yourself a vehicle.
It is a great time. It is a great time. You want to make sure before you get that next vehicle that you really, make your dollars go as far as they can. Obviously, there's upfront costs. Obviously, there's cost through the duration of your financing. And then there's the end cost, which is that negative equity piece when you're going to get your next car. Some of you may be in that situation right now. We talked about it. If you're just joining us, we talked about what negative equity is. We know that's the difference between what you owe and what your car is worth. You owe $18, but it's worth $15. You have $3,000 of negative equity. We know where it comes from. Depreciation is the biggest piece, Randy, along with taxes and dealer profit. You add them all together. It's a rapid drop. And then we talked in the last break about how it affects you. Really, really important to realize for every $1,000 you're upside down, it's going to cost you about $25. Most people, Randy, believe it or not, well, let me ask you, would you know what do you think the average negative equity is per transaction?
Oh, average.
Average. Or an NADA.
$6,000.
No, it's not that high.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
No, $3,200.
32. Okay.
$3,200. So you're talking you on average you're going to have a $75 monthly payment before you select a car. At $25 per thousand, give or take, depending on your credit, you're going into your next deal with a $75 payment. You have, and we've even gone through it with consumers sometimes where they get upset because they see a payment. Well, you're charging me, $475, for this car. Well, no, sir. The car is actually $368. The negative equity is $89. Mm-hmm. You put them together and you got a $475 payment. Would you like to take care of that? With two payments or one kind of thing? I mean, it's really, you almost have to break it down where people can understand it. And I understand, because being a dealer, and now being a used car dealer, I mean, I've got 65 cars. I already know that 35 of those cars, 32 of them, I've already got negative equity to the tune of $2,000, $1,500. Okay, but then I've got the fresh cars that I just traded for up to 30 days that they're already losing value. So every car on a dealer's lot has negative equity after the first 7 days. And I'll be honest with you, as soon as you service the car, you have negative equity. Because as soon as I pay $10,000 for a car and book value is $10,000, and I run it through the shop and spend $500 and $120 on a detail, I'm $650 negative equity.
Right
if I don't sell that car.
All right, so how does a consumer either avoid or minimize that negative equity?
All right, we got four. We'll cover one, maybe two, real quick here.
Okay.
The first one is cash. You've heard the term cash is king, really and truly. In 2008, when everything hit the fan, all these lenders tightened up, not only real estate, but even car lenders. They've changed the rules, Dodd-Frank, all this kind of stuff. So most lenders love to see 20% down, regardless of credit. They love to see it because they want to be in an equity situation as fast as they can. They want the cash, so if they have to repo the car, they don't have negative equity. All right, so they like to impose that on consumers, but it's not a must. They love to see it. So cash is king. So save up some money so you can put some money down. That is the single biggest way you can avoid negative equity. We've got three others. When we come back from the break, we'll cover them.
All right, we'll be right back. 8:48, 70 degrees. Louie Herron weekend kickoff on Country 102. And more with Louie in just a moment. Right now, the band Perry. Your Bobby Brown Insurance Agency time, 8:48, currently 70 degrees. Country 102, 854, back one more time live with Louie Herron in studio for the Louie Herron weekend kickoff. And it's a big football weekend, but it's also a great weekend for you to get a vehicle into the month. And Louie's Lake Lot near the Pyramid, the place to go.
Absolutely. Come on, check us out for the game tomorrow. Come check us out today. Another easy way to check us out is go online to louieslakelot.com. Just looking at the inventory, and we were talking about it offline. I mean, I have so many different cars, so many different price points. A lot of folks talk about makes and models and so forth, but literally I've got Acuras, Audis, Cadillacs, Chevrolets, Chryslers, Fiats, Dodge, Honda, Infinitis, tons of I got some Jeeps. And people love these Jeeps, man. I mean, that is a niche. I mean, people love Jeeps. I got Mercedes, Toyotas, Nissans, Volkswagens. Go to louieslakelot.com, grab your smartphone or get online, check out the inventory, call us. Listen, We've been out there now for almost as long as I had the Toyota store. It was for 4.5 years. So we've been out there for a while. We just really haven't pushed it. Obviously now it's what I have, and so and I'm treating it just like I would any other store with the customer care, the quality of product, warranty cars, 4-month warranty, no charge to anyone as they drive off the lot. And I'm there, Randy. I mean, I'm there making sure, overseeing. I mean, there's only three of us, so it's like we say in the ads. Literally, when you've got a trailer and three people, man, when the overhead is low, we can go deep on a deal. We can make sure that price is not going to stop us from doing business.
And come make your best deal this weekend and get that $250 Walmart card.
Absolutely. Well, with school just starting and people spending the money on school supplies, look, we'll give you a $250 gift card, today or tomorrow, this weekend as you come out there and check it out. If you buy a vehicle from us, you can apply that to a discount if you'd like. But if you want a gift card, kind of recoup some of those expenses for those kids because they keep coming, don't they, Randy?
They do. Let's get back to negative equity for just a moment. We mentioned cash is king, but you had a couple of more points you wanted to make.
There's a couple more. I'm trying to decipher which one I want to tell you. Here's what I'll tell you. Cash is king in short term. When people finance 72 months, 84 months, you drag it on, and I know why you do it. Listen, I understand it. You want a new car, or you, more importantly, need a new car, but you don't need a 606 payment. So You can't do a 36-month or a 42-month finance, Randy. But that's really, if you really want to know how you can eliminate some negative equity, you want to shorten the term and put more cash down. Those are two golden gems. Hard to do, but if you can, you avoid negative equity.
All right, sir. We've enjoyed it this morning, and hope you have a great weekend.
You got to come out and see me tomorrow. We're gonna be out there.
We want everybody to come by tomorrow.
Yes,
whether you're headed to Athens or not, come by tomorrow morning.
Well, don't discount today.
No, today would be good too.
That's right. Check us out.
All right, Louie Herron Weekend Kickoff on Country 102.